There are two kinds of wounds. There's the wound that makes you think you're less than others, and there's the wound that makes you think you're better than others. And the less than others, at least they know they have something to work toward or learn. The ones who are there have nothing to learn, and it's like the biggest tragedy because they just live their lives in the dark, thinking everything they do is great and ignoring all the results. And also, just learning from your experiences that doing something and failing and letting that be a learning lesson. So letting the failure be a learning lesson. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Humility is the most important thing you can have for change. If you really want to have a big change. Like a lot of people come just to hear what they already want to hear. Like codify this into 5 principles I can then apply to my life. But humility to recognize, what got you here won't get you there, as the saying goes, right? And to say at some point, if you really want to change and you're really stuck, I know nothing. I'm letting go of everything. And I'm sort of gonna relearn as with a childlike mind.
Action is the antidote for despair. Action is the prescription for success. How can you have one word, one theory be the antidote for something while being the prescription for another? That's a powerful something. Action. Will Smith said it when he was being interviewed by Tavis Smiley. I'm gonna work harder than the next guy. If I'm on a treadmill, I'm gonna die on a treadmill. Because no one wants to live in uncertainty and ambiguity, and we live a life of ambiguity. I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because you never have to move in ambiguity. Instead, just say, I'm afraid to leap. Help me leap. Help me leap. Help me get the courage to leap. Because I don't want to live a life on the edge. Just say that.
It's funny, there are all these books about happiness, right? I think 10% happy, or all these books about happiness. And there's a problem, I think, with that goal of reaching for happiness, which is you've got other emotions, right? Sometimes you're gonna be sad, sometimes you're gonna have anxiety, sometimes you're gonna have fear. Like, we have many emotions. And if you feel like I need to be happy all the time, when you're not happy, you're gonna feel like something's off. But what I think of it is this: you're born pure and fresh and vulnerable and spontaneous and in the moment, and slowly through life experiences and your caregivers, you get loaded with a lot of baggage. And I think one of the goals of life is how much of that baggage can you cut away before you leave this planet. We're running on this operating system, and we're all running on this operating system. This operating system was programmed in our first years of life. We're born without the architecture, and the architecture is built by our childhood experiences. Sure. So all these connections are made whereby I think a child makes 700 new neural connections a second. So a 3-year-old has twice as many neural connections as we do. And then as you grow up, as new ones are forming, there's a process called pruning, so the ones you don't use go away. So your brain is really shaped and built by what you're seeing with your caregivers growing up. Like, basically, my friend, he would tell me over and over, you got everything you wanted in the game, why are you still unhappy? Why your relationship's not working. He would have these conversations with me till he was blue in the face. And I would just fight against him. I'd push back. I'd tell him all the reasons why he was wrong. I'd text him why he's wrong, because I'd think of counter arguments later. And it was I was arguing against my own growth, because the things I found the thing I was the most resistant to was what I needed the most. So it's hard. It's so hard to see yourself. And we also have a psychological investment in remaining the same. So it's like you have a friend, you're always trying to maybe cheer them up because they're depressed, or help them with their self-esteem because they're down, but you'll find they will fight. People will psychologically fight to hold on to their story because it's all they have.
Can you give yourself permission to live in the duality of your imperfections and your smallness and what you're learning and what you still have to learn, and your greatness and your brilliance and your light? Can you allow them to coexist and then serve them up to the world? To love you, to see you, to inhale you, to judge you, to leave you, to love you. Some of us are just as afraid of being loved as we are to be left. Can you give the world permission to leave you and love you?